to doing things for yourself. You just directed your first movie, right?
Yes, I did. I wrote and produced and directed a short film because, like we were talking about, I kind of wanted to start putting my thumbprint on more than just my performance. I wanted to start figuring out how, you know, effectively, eventually I'd like to make my own feature. I'd like to, you know, be able to produce series. But I started with a short film, which, as you guys know, Nicholas starred in, who was amazing. My friend Bianca Kylik from Rules of Engagement, which is on, it was on after 2.5 Men, I think it just moved to Friday. She played opposite him. And then my friend Stu Stone, who has an amazing radio show called The Morning Stu. You guys should check it out. He's awesome. Played kind of the comic relief character. So it was really, really fun. I shot way too many pages in one day, like 26 pages, but it was a great experience, and I'm in the process of editing it right now. Everybody always says, well, what's going to happen with it? I mean, probably I'll just show it at some conventions and make it available to you guys who are, you know, loyal to Nick and I. I don't think it'll ever get released. I don't necessarily want that for this project. It was just kind of my first time in the directorial arena, so. But it was a very, very fun experience. I loved it.
Hi. I have 2 questions. My first question is, while both of you were on the show, did you follow what people were saying on the message boards on the internet and did not have, you know, any effect on you, or how you, one, I guess personally, and 2, how you played the character?
I'm not all that technically inclined, so I don't really, and then also sometimes you just read some horrible things, so that kind of turns you off of ever reading any of that stuff, so so I just try to not, you know, read that stuff just in case there's some mean things said.
Well, here's what happened to me. I knew that Buffy had a really big, obviously, following of fans, and Eliza was like, yeah, you're going to want to check out what people are saying, and I'm like, oh, awesome, I can't wait. So my episode premiered, you know, No Place Like Home, and, you know, moments later, I'm like on the message boards, and all I read is, she's terrible, who is this, she's awful, she, you know, and who knows, it's, you know, it's a few people, and also I found with Buffy, people, it takes the fan base time to warm up to characters. It's not like a character comes on and everybody's like, yay, we love her. No, it's like, it takes, you know, a few episodes for people to figure out, okay, well, this is her place, this is what's going to happen. So I read, you know, for about like an hour after No Place Like Home premiered, and I was like, yeah, and I'm like crying, like, oh, I need another glass of wine. And then I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do the audience justice and my character justice and be real and be organic in my performance, I can't read this, because it's only going to affect me and make me try to edit what I'm doing, and that's only going to cause a bad performance. So after that first time, I just never got back on. And really, to this day, I try not to read a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously, my Facebook page, I talk with everybody, I read stuff like that, but you know, if there's a negative review, I'm like, whatever. Negative, you know, they say that you need to ignore the positive as much as you ignore the negative, because it's all subjective.
Good perspective. Mercedes, have you followed the Buffy in comic book form for season 8? What do you think about the development of your character?
I thought it was hilarious. Given a reality show, how perfect. I think the writers just always wrote my character so well. You know, they just got it. It was such a departure from all the other characters. It was interesting that they're so talented that they could do all the like darker content and then bring Harmony and just write her perfect dialogue, the funniest lines, and then come up with this idea for the comic. And they did steal some inspiration from my dog on the cover, but I'll let it slide. I have a dog that looks somewhat exactly like the dogs on the cover. But yeah, I thought it was really funny. And then like Carmen is like single-handedly responsible for kind of letting, you know, vampires live amongst the regular people, which is kind of funny too. So they could totally explore that angle and keep going with that. And hopefully they will.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
How was it filming Hatchet?
It was so fun. Hatchet was a horror film I did a couple years ago. We were stuck in Palmdale, which is not a really nice part of California.
It's not too glamorous.
It's not very glamorous. It's like the meth capital of California, basically. So we imagine. And all three of us girls had to live together, and all the three boys lived together. So I'm like, why would you not, as a producer, I'm thinking, why would you put three young actresses in the same movie, in the same like living quarters? It seems like a recipe for disaster. But fortunately, we got along super well, and now I have best friends for life. And so everyone, and it was miserable. The conditions were miserable. We were wet the whole time. It was freezing cold. For every take, they'd be like, "All right, come over," and then they'd hose you down. It was really pretty demeaning, but none of us got sick. We all just had a blast. We actually really had so much fun making it because the director himself is he's like, he has this childlike enthusiasm that is infectious, so it kind of made us all get over, whiningness and just get to work. That was great.
Thank you.
Hi, this is from Mercedes. You were on both series. Is there an episode from both of them, either of them,
Oh, yeah.
that you really say, oh, I feel like that's the best one, or I enjoyed that the best?
I think on, Harsh Light of Day one, the first one where I was like an actual vampire with Spike and all that stuff. I think that was the most exciting because it felt like I finally kind of got a handle of where my character was going for the first time. Before I just kind of fill in here and there and whatever. But so I think that one I felt like I had a purpose as a character on the show all of a sudden, so that was nice. And then it was awesome being a vampire just by myself. I like to get the fights and all that, do the makeup and all that stuff was fun. And then Angel, I would say, the one, the big episode that was mine.
Arms Away.
Yeah, that one, Arms Away. Just because it was all about me.
We all like that. We are actors.
Thank you.
Hi, so I have a question that's sort of related to that, and it's for both of you. Do you have a favorite character in the Buffyverse, and if so, who, why?
I mean, you get so slanted towards your own character. It's hard for me to pick somebody else that I love as much as Glory. But let's see. I don't know. It's a good question. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I think we're all biased.
Oh yeah, we're all so biased.
You live your own so much, it's like choosing which kid you like better or something. That's a tough question.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So I actually had a question for pretty much both of you, and two-part question. One part mainly to Mercedes is that you were on both series. Was there a difference in atmosphere between working in one series for Buffy, working on the other series for Angel? Slightly different casts, slightly different crew, that sort of thing. And the other question for Claire is, what was the atmosphere coming into what was kind of an established universe, established cast, crew? How was it integrating in at the time?
I'll just do the part A. I think just because, I was like 16 when I very first started, and I think just everyone was pretty young during Buffy in the very beginning, so it's a little bit more dramatic than Angel. By the time I did Angel, everyone was, a little bit more mature and had been at it for a while, so I think there's just like a little more drama on the Buffy set sometimes. It's like, little egos of people on a brand new successful show kind of was different, and then by the time I got to Angel, everybody calmed down. So that was a little different, and just the age difference, there's a little, there's a definite sense of maturity on Angel that Buffy didn't really have, but I was there, so maybe that. So then I was always the most mature out of everybody.
I guess for me, coming in the 5th season, everybody, obviously the cast was established and had been working together for years, and the crew for the most part too. So it was a bit like transferring to a new high school, like your senior, junior year, like you kind of show up and you're like feeling everyone out, hey, maybe try to make a friend over by the craft service table,
The worst is lunchtime.
Yeah, the worst is lunch, where you go through the line and you get your plate. And, most of my scenes were with minions. So, I mean, even though I was on it the whole time, it wasn't necessarily like I integrated and interacted with the cast. It was usually me, Sarah, or Michelle and I, or, myself and the minions. So it wasn't like I had a lot of time to hang out with the whole Scooby gang. So it was, everybody was extremely welcoming and really really nice and, you know, everything like that, but I still felt a little bit like, you know, the new kid on the block, which I was, so it made sense.
Thank you.
I have another question.
Okay.
You're both, you know, these cute little blondes, and then you're down on this series throwing people around. Were the fight scenes new for you guys, and which were your favorite fight scenes?
Well,
Just beating people up.
yeah.
That's really scrappy in high school. Right?
Yeah, she's danger. I mean, I love the stunt work, and I think that's, I mean, to me, that being able to do stunts and fighting and, you know, different things like that, that's one of the things I really enjoy about being an actor. And I have a dance background, so learning the fights was a bit like learning choreography, you know, you pick them up really quickly, and then it's really fun to execute and to see yourself on camera instead of the stunt double. So whenever possible, I think we all try to do our own sequences as much as possible. But you know, yeah, it's to me, it's one of the more enjoyable parts.
Kind of like
of
an outlet, like
working.
taking a
Yeah.
kickboxing class or something. It's like that, it's like an emotional outlet a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
My favorite harmony fight scene is the Xander harmony slap.
It's not my proudest fight, but
Isn't entirely stunt-like, but
yeah, no, there's no stuff people needed for that one. Just a little shin guard or something.
Yeah, well, actually, it's really funny because even if it's like a very minor stunt, quote unquote, they like to have, you know, your double available. So I remember one time we were filming during the 100th episode, there was a scene where, like, there was a little spark down by my feet or whatever, Glory's feet, and they had my stunt double come in and they're like, all right, are you okay? And, you know, she's like, I'm set, you know? And literally the thing went off and it was like no worse than a birthday candle. And they were like, are you okay? You know? So it's kind of funny, and in some ways they were overprotective, but that's a good thing also.